I'm Lauren of All Trades, and today I'm doing a cabin tour. What's that? You're the wrong side. So that was cabin 6381 on the Carnival Breeze. I want to talk about what we liked and didn't like about our cabin, but also I'm going to talk about what we liked or didn't like about the ship or things that Carnival has changed at the end of this video. So stick around for that. That is why this video is going to be a little bit longer than you would expect it to be. Or if you don't care about the cabin information, you can go ahead and fast forward to the part where I talk about the ship and Carnival. So we love this cabin a lot. We really like the square layout. It gave us a lot more space than the rectangular layout gives you. It is not a specific category when you are booking your cruise. It is mixed in with the other categories of interior cabins. You just have to look at the deck plan and find the ones that look like they are square as opposed to the ones that look like they are rectangular. So I don't know if they're actually even called square interior, but I call them that. And I usually love them. And so anytime I have a chance to snag one on a cruise that I'm booking, I always go for it. And that paid off big time on this ship. That said, we did have some unpleasantness with this particular cabin and this particular location. We got unlucky with some noisy neighbors that we could hear through the connecting door. I did know that it was a connecting cabin when I booked it, but I had never previously had an issue with sound coming through the door, and that was either just from luck or maybe it was a different ship that had better soundproofing through the doors. I don't know. So beware that a lot of these square interior cabins are connecting, so either try to get one of the ones that isn't, or be prepared potentially for some noisiness. Of course, if you want connecting cabins, it's great because there are so many of them. So that's great if you have a group and you want the connections. Another thing is the cabin doors on this ship have vents in them. I don't know why. They stopped doing this on the newer ships, but I know that Carnival had them on some of the older ships. And so we've had issues with the vents on the doors in the past, where if there's a speaker right outside the door, it's really loud through the door, which is generally fine, except for when the cruise director makes the morning announcement. That wakes me up. So I assessed, at least for this hallway, I can't remember if there are square interior cabins elsewhere on the ship, on other decks. So I'm only speaking to deck 6. And I assessed outside in the hallway and recorded which cabins are farthest away from the speakers and which are closest. And I will put it in the description because maybe you want to hear those announcements through the door. You might find that helpful. Or if you want to be as far away as possible, I'll have that as well. There was also some noise from We Are Above the Casino, which is generally not a noise issue, but there was some sort of sports game or something. I don't know. People were cheering kind of late into the evening, and it didn't go so late that it kept us awake, but we were surprised at the cheering that was coming from the floor, that was coming from below. So that was the only noise issue as far as public spaces around us. Another issue with being this close to the casino is that the smoke from the casino, the smell at least, comes up the stairwell or up the elevators, and we can smell it in the hallway, but we cannot smell it in the room. So not too concerning. I would still book one of these cabins again, even though I don't like that smell. It is only in the hallway, so it doesn't affect us too much. I don't know if this is specific to this cabin or all of the cabins on board, but I tried to press the room service button on the phone and it did not go to the room service line. So it might just be that our phone is programmed wrong, or it might be system-wide. My guess is system-wide, but I haven't talked to anyone to find out. It calls the emergency line. So if you need to call room service, don't press that button on the phone. Type in 8000 and that will get you to room service. There also is no longer QR codes on the wall to get to the room service menu, but then we asked our steward for a menu and he produced one. So I don't know if it was that they don't put them in the rooms and you have to ask for them, or if they do put them in the rooms, but someone stole the one from this room and they just didn't notice. If you want to order room service, you can ask the steward for the menu if it's not in your room. I think that's everything about the room that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk a little bit about stuff related to Carnival / this specific ship. I think the thing specific to Carnival is that we did have cheers on this cruise, and we found that they stopped printing on the receipt when you were getting close to your 15 drinks. So you used to be able to have warning. I think it was at 10, it started telling you that you were at 10 and then 11, etc. And now it doesn't tell you. You find out when the bartender lets you know that it's your last drink, or if you count in your in the app. You can check in your account, but that's a little bit hard to do because if you get a non-alcoholic drink at a bar, that looks the same in your account unless you click into it. But you can also just ask the bartenders to let you know each time you order a drink or when you think you're getting close. But that is kind of annoying, so I just wish that they had it on the receipt still, but you know, there are options around that. Oh, Carnival also seems to have taken away the ships on a stick. The ship on a sticks. The trophies. I don't know if it's specific to this ship or we just got unlucky with this cruise. They're giving out like Halloween medallions right now. So I don't know, like it's been over a year since we were last on Carnival. They were giving them away. I tried to do an internet search to see what other people's were saying and it was inconclusive. Let me know if you know. Definitely. I didn't get around to asking Fun Squad for an answer. I meant to do that. But either way, we won trivia and did not get a ship on a stick, and now I'm sad because now my collection is going to be incomplete. So I hope Carnival brings them back if they did take them away. I don't want a medallion. I really don't want the generic medallion that we got because we did a trivia that wasn't, or we won a trivia that wasn't Halloween themed. So we didn't even get the fun Halloween medallion. Around this ship, they started adding aroma sprayers. Basically a giant Glade plug-in. And I know some people like that, but there are a lot of people who are sensitive to smells, such as us. We don't like it, and it's like people with asthma are going to be affected by that negatively, and they're all over the ship, and it's kind of gross. If you are sensitive to smells, do not book this ship. And I don't know what's going on with the rest of the fleet. If you've been on other ships and you've noticed those, put it in the comments for people to see. But the one that bothered me the most was the one that was pointed into the bonsai sushi so that it was smelling like fake flowers while we were trying to enjoy our sushi. We were still able to enjoy it because the sushi was really good, but it's like a thing you learn if you watch any cooking shows. Maybe that's not true. Maybe I just happened to learn it on one season of Top Chef. You don't put scented candles at the dinner table because you don't want to smell vanilla when you're trying to eat steak. Anyway, for the same reason you shouldn't put scented candles in a restaurant, don't put smelly giant Glade plug-ins next to a restaurant or next to a bar where people are trying to drink drinks that are supposed to taste like a certain flavor. So I guess that covers everything. We did like the ship in general. It's, we haven't been on the ship class before, or the ship, obviously. We've been on the ones before and after. So it is kind of like a fusion between Freedom class and Vista class. So like from everything on the interior is a lot like Freedom class, and everything that's exterior is more like Vista class, just smaller. So it was kind of fun for us because we've been on both of those, and it's like experiencing both of those again, like each of those at the same time. But yeah, we did like the layout of the ship for the most part. It does kind of force you through the casino more than some of their other ships do. We don't like that because of the smoke, but it is avoidable if you know and you plan around it. I do like that there is a non-smoking casino. I think that's kind of a thing that they are like instituting fleet-wide. But I always forget that that's a thing that's developed, and so it's nice that it's there. And we've liked all the food. You may have heard me say in other videos before, Carnival is our favorite cruise line. That's still true. I do hate what they did to the loyalty program, but we're not going to talk about that here. We do really just enjoy cruising on Carnival, and this cruise lived up to that once again. That's it for me. And cabin, I can't remember it to save my life, 6381 on the Carnival Breeze. Oh, my arm's getting really tired. It's like, maybe I should have done the Stein hoisting competition.